It was an overcast morning in downtown Los Angeles, the kind of day where the sun struggled to break through a blanket of clouds. Nestled between towering office buildings stood Brew Haven, a modest cafe that had been a sanctuary for locals seeking a warm cup of coffee and a quiet place to reflect. The cafe wasn't particularly flashy, but it was known for its cozy atmosphere and friendly staff, making it a cherished part of the community. Amelia, the cafe's manager, was at her usual spot behind the counter, meticulously arranging pastries in the display case. Her long day was just beginning, and she took pride in ensuring every customer left with a smile. The staff, a small team of enthusiastic young baristas, buzzed around her, preparing for the morning rush. The doorbell chimed softly, signaling the arrival of a customer. Amelia glanced up briefly, offering her standard warm smile before returning to her task. The man who had entered didn't look like the typical business professional who frequented Brew Haven, dressed in a worn hoodie and sneakers. He had a scruffy beard and carried an air of quiet humility. He approached the counter, scanning the menu with an almost childlike curiosity. "Good morning," Amelia greeted, her voice warm and inviting. "What can I get started for you today?" The man smiled faintly. "Just a black coffee, please. And maybe a blueberry muffin." Amelia nodded and tapped the order into the register. "Coming right up. That'll be $4.75. The man reached into his pocket, pulling out a handful of crumpled bills and loose change. He carefully counted out the exact amount, his movements deliberate but unhurried. As Amelia handed him his receipt, she noticed a group of regulars at a nearby table whispering and glancing in the man's direction. She couldn't hear what they were saying, but their expressions made it clear they found his presence unusual. Amelia chose to ignore it, focusing instead on the customer in front of her. "Feel free to take a seat. I'll bring your coffee and muffin to your table," she said with a genuine smile. The man thanked her and chose a corner table by the window, where he sat quietly, gazing out at the bustling street. As the minutes passed, he sipped his coffee slowly, savoring each sip as if it were a rare treat. He seemed lost in thought, his expression serene yet introspective. Meanwhile, the whispers among the regulars grew louder. "What's he doing here?" one of them murmured. "Doesn't look like he belongs." Amelia overheard the comment and felt a pang of irritation. She had always prided herself on fostering an inclusive environment at Brew Haven, where everyone felt welcome. Turning toward the group, she said firmly but politely, "We treat everyone with kindness here. Let's keep it that way." The group fell silent, exchanging sheepish glances. Amelia returned to her work, her resolve to maintain the cafe's friendly atmosphere unwavering. As the morning rush came and went, the man remained at his table, occasionally jotting notes in a small, weathered notebook. His unassuming demeanor and quiet presence made him easy to overlook, but Amelia couldn't shake the feeling that there was something unusual about him. "Hey, Amelia," one of the baristas, Jordan, whispered as he passed by. "Do you know who that guy is?" Amelia shook her head. "No, but he seems harmless." "Why?" Jordan leaned closer, lowering his voice. "I think he's someone important. I swear I've seen his face before, but I can't place it." Amelia laughed softly. "Jordan, not every customer is a celebrity. He's just here for coffee like everyone else." But as the day went on, more customers seemed to recognize the man. Some stole glances from across the room, while others whispered excitedly among themselves. Still, the man remained unfazed, sipping his coffee and occasionally writing in his notebook. It wasn't until lunchtime that the mystery was finally solved. A young woman, no older than 20, approached the counter with her phone in hand, her face flushed with excitement. Is that Elon Musk?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Amelia's eyes widened as she turned to look at the man once more. She hadn't made the connection before, but now it was unmistakable. Beneath the scruffy beard and casual attire was the world-famous entrepreneur and innovator, the man behind Tesla and SpaceX. Amelia felt a wave of disbelief. Why would someone like Elon Musk choose her humble cafe? And why would he go to such lengths to remain inconspicuous? She decided to keep the revelation to herself, continuing to treat him as she would any other customer. If Elon Musk wanted to enjoy his coffee in peace, she would respect that. As the afternoon wore on, Amelia noticed Elon observing the cafe with a keen interest. He watched as the baristas expertly crafted lattes, as customers laughed and chatted over their drinks, and as Amelia herself moved seamlessly between managing the counter and engaging with patrons. Finally, as he prepared to leave, Elon approached the counter once more. "Thank you for the coffee and muffin," he said, his voice carrying a note of sincerity. "This is a wonderful place." Amelia smiled. "Thank you. We're glad you enjoyed it." He paused, glancing around the cafe one last time. "You've created something special here," he said. "A place where people feel at home." Amelia was taken aback by the compliment. "That means a lot." "Thank you." Elon nodded and slipped a business card across the counter. "If there's ever anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out." With that, he left the cafe, leaving Amelia and her staff in stunned silence. It wasn't until he was gone that the magnitude of the encounter began to sink in. As the days passed, news of Elon Musk's visit spread through the community like wildfire. Customers flooded Brew Haven, hoping to catch a glimpse of the billionaire or to experience the cafe that had caught his attention. Amelia, however, remained grounded. While the influx of business was a welcome surprise, she was more touched by Elon's kind words and the validation of her efforts. She knew that Brew Haven's true magic lay not in its newfound fame, but in the simple act of making people feel welcome, one cup of coffee at a time. The news of Elon Musk's visit to Brew Haven spread faster than Amelia could have imagined. Social media posts flooded local groups, with captions like, "Elon Musk spotted at our favorite cafe," and "Brew Haven is now officially Musk-approved." Photos taken discreetly by other customers captured Elon sipping coffee, his scruffy hoodie a stark contrast to the polished decor of the cafe. At first, Amelia worried the attention might disrupt the peaceful vibe that made Brew Haven special. By the second day after Elon's visit, the cafe had doubled its usual morning crowd. Lines stretched out the door, and the hum of conversation filled every corner. Amelia and her team worked tirelessly to keep up, their exhaustion offset by the excitement of seeing their little cafe gain such unexpected fame. As she handed a freshly brewed latte to a waiting customer, Amelia heard Jordan, her barista, whisper to her, "You're not going to believe this, but someone from the Los Angeles Times just called. They want to do a feature on us." Amelia blinked in disbelief. "You're kidding?" "Nope," Jordan said, grinning. "They're sending someone over this afternoon. You're going to be famous, boss." Amelia laughed nervously. "I don't think fame is in the job description, Jordan." By noon, the cafe was busier than ever. The usual mix of regulars and new faces now included journalists, bloggers, and a few influencers, all eager to document what had quickly become the most talked-about cafe in Los Angeles. Amelia remained focused, determined to treat every customer with the same care that had earned Elon's praise. The sound of the doorbell chiming pulled her attention to a tall, sharply dressed man who entered with an air of authority. He wasn't a customer, nor was he part of the media crowd. His polished shoes and confident stride suggested he was someone important. "Excuse me," he said, approaching the counter. "Are you Amelia?" "Yes," she replied, a hint of apprehension in her voice. The man extended a hand. "My name is Richard. I'm part of Elon Musk's team." Amelia's breath caught. "Oh, wow. It's nice to meet you." "Likewise," Richard said, his smile warm but professional. "Elon spoke highly of your cafe. He's asked me to come by and discuss a small gesture of appreciation." "Appreciation?" Amelia repeated, her mind racing. "I'm not sure I understand." "Elon was impressed not only by the atmosphere of your cafe, but also by the kindness and professionalism of you and your staff," Richard explained. "He believes places like this deserve recognition and support. He's asked me to deliver this." Richard handed Amelia a sleek black envelope embossed with a gold emblem. Her hands trembled slightly as she opened it. Inside was a handwritten note on thick stationery. Dear Amelia, your cafe embodies what so many strive for, a sense of community and warmth. Your dedication to creating a space where everyone feels welcome didn't go unnoticed. As a token of my gratitude, I'd like to offer financial support to help you expand your vision. I hope this contribution allows Brew Haven to continue thriving and spreading its magic. Warm regards, Elon Musk. Amelia stared at the letter, her heart pounding. Folded beneath it was a check, an amount so generous she had to read it twice to believe her eyes. Is this real? She whispered. Richard chuckled. It's very real. Elon believes in investing in people and places that inspire him. Brew Haven clearly made an impression. Amelia's staff, overhearing the exchange, gathered around her, their excitement bubbling over. What are you going to do with it? Jordan asked, his eyes wide with wonder. Amelia took a deep breath, her mind racing with possibilities. First, we're going to make sure the cafe is running at its absolute best. Then, who knows? Maybe this is our chance to open a second location. The team erupted into cheers, their enthusiasm infectious. The cafe's regulars, noticing the commotion, joined in, applauding Amelia and her staff. The energy in the room was electric, and for the first time since Elon's visit, Amelia allowed herself to embrace the moment fully. That evening, as the cafe finally quieted down, Amelia sat in her office, the check still in her hand. The day had been surreal, and the weight of Elon's gesture began to sink in. She wasn't just running a cafe anymore. She was now the steward of a growing legacy, one that carried the hopes and dreams of her community. Her thoughts were interrupted by a soft knock on the door. It was Jordan. Hey, he said, stepping inside. I just wanted to say, you deserve this. We all see how hard you work, how much you care. This place wouldn't be the same without you. Amelia smiled, her eyes glistening. Thank you, Jordan. That means a lot. As she locked up the cafe that night, Amelia glanced back at the cozy space she had poured her heart into. The tables, the counter, the familiar hum of the espresso machine. All of it felt different now, as if the world had opened up endless possibilities. The next morning, the cafe buzzed with even more excitement. Customers shared stories of Elon's visit, speculating about what might come next for Brew Haven. As Amelia worked alongside her team, a young woman approached the counter, clutching a notebook. Hi, the woman said, her voice timid but friendly. My name's Grace. I'm a reporter for the Los Angeles Times. Do you have a moment to talk about your cafe? Amelia hesitated but then nodded. Of course. Let's find a quieter spot. They sat at a corner table, and Grace opened her notebook, her pen poised to capture every detail. What inspired you to start Brew Haven? Grace asked. Amelia smiled, her thoughts drifting back to the early days. I wanted to create a place where people felt at home, where they could take a break from the chaos of life and just breathe. Coffee is just a vehicle. It's the sense of community that really matters. Grace nodded, scribbling notes furiously. And how did it feel when you realized Elon Musk had visited your cafe? Honestly, I didn't recognize him at first, Amelia admitted with a laugh. But once I did, it was humbling. To know that someone like him saw value in what we're doing here. It's overwhelming, but in the best way. As the interview continued, Amelia shared stories of her team, the regulars who had become like family, and the countless moments that made Brew Haven special. By the time Grace left, Amelia felt a renewed sense of purpose. Days turned into weeks, and the cafe continued to thrive. With Elon's support, Amelia began implementing upgrades, new equipment for the baristas, enhanced seating for customers, and even a small reading nook stocked with books donated by patrons. One afternoon, as she reviewed blueprints for a potential second location, a familiar figure walked through the door. It was Elon Musk, dressed casually but without the disguise this time. The cafe fell silent as customers and staff recognized him instantly. Elon, Amelia said, stepping forward to greet him. "This is a surprise. I had to see the magic again," he said with a smile. "And it looks like things are going well." "They are," Amelia said. "Thanks to you." Elon waved off the credit. "I just gave a nudge." The heart of this place was already here. As they talked, Amelia felt a sense of ease, as if speaking to an old friend. Elon asked about the cafe's progress, the changes she'd made, and her plans for the future. "Have you thought about scaling up?" he asked. "Taking Brew Haven beyond Los Angeles?" Amelia hesitated. "I've thought about it, but I worry about losing what makes this place special." Elon nodded thoughtfully. "It's a valid concern, but if anyone can maintain that magic, it's you." Before leaving, Elon left Amelia with one final piece of advice. "Keep doing what you're doing. The world needs more places like this." As the door closed behind him, Amelia felt a surge of determination. Brew Haven was more than a cafe now. It was a testament to the power of kindness, community, and the belief that even the smallest acts can create ripples of change. As the weeks turned into months, Brew Haven continued to grow, not just in reputation, but in its impact on the community. Amelia, now a local celebrity, was adjusting to her new role as the face of a thriving cafe that had become a symbol of resilience and kindness. The once quaint and quiet cafe now buzzed with activity every day, attracting patrons from all walks of life. However, the attention came with challenges. With the influx of customers and the pressure to expand, Amelia often found herself overwhelmed. Managing the cafe, training new staff, and maintaining the warm atmosphere that made Brew Haven special was no easy feat. Despite Elon Musk's generous support, the weight of expectation began to press heavily on her shoulders. One crisp Thursday morning, as Amelia walked into the cafe with her usual coffee in hand, she noticed a sense of tension among her team. Jordan, her ever-enthusiastic barista, approached her with a clipboard in hand. "Amelia," he began, his voice tinged with concern, "we've been running out of supplies faster than expected. The new crowd is great, but we're barely keeping up with demand. I'm worried about burnout, yours and ours." Amelia sighed, placing her coffee on the counter. "I know, Jordan. I've been feeling it too. We need a solution before this pace becomes unsustainable." Before they could delve further into the discussion, the cafe door swung open, and a deliverman entered carrying a bouquet of sunflowers. Amelia raised an eyebrow. Puzzled. "Delivery for Amelia," the man announced with a grin. Amelia stepped forward and accepted the flowers, her curiosity piqued. Attached was a small card with a familiar logo, a sleek Tesla insignia. Inside, the note read, "Amelia, great success comes with challenges, but remember, you don't have to face them alone. Let's talk." "Elon." Amelia stared at the note, her heart racing. It had been a while since Elon's last visit, and she hadn't expected to hear from him again so soon. His timing, however, couldn't have been more perfect. The following week, Amelia found herself in a sleek, sunlit meeting room at Tesla's Los Angeles office. The stark contrast between the corporate environment and her cozy cafe was jarring, but Amelia felt a sense of excitement. Elon entered the room, his presence commanding yet approachable. "Amelia," he said warmly, extending his hand. "It's great to see you again." "You too, Elon," she replied, shaking his hand. "Thank you for the flowers and the note." Elon gestured for her to sit. "I meant every word. Brew Haven is thriving, but I can see it's taking a toll. Let's figure out how to keep the magic alive without burning you out." Amelia explained the challenges she'd been facing. The rapid growth, the demand for expansion, and her fear of losing the unique charm that made Brew Haven special. Elon listened intently, nodding occasionally. When she finished, he leaned forward, his hands clasped. "Here's what I think," he began. "You don't have to do this alone. Surround yourself with people who share your vision and values. Build a team you trust to carry the weight. And when it comes to expansion, start small, maybe one new location at a time. Focus on replicating the heart of Brew Haven, not just its appearance. His words struck a chord. Amelia realized she had been trying to shoulder everything herself, fearing that delegating might dilute her vision. But Elon's advice reminded her that collaboration could strengthen her cafe's mission. Back at Brew Haven, Amelia called a team meeting. She shared her conversation with Elon and her plans to make changes. First, she introduced a new leadership structure, promoting Jordan to assistant manager and delegating responsibilities among the staff. She also hired 2 more baristas to ease the workload. "I want this place to feel like home, not just for our customers, but for all of us," Amelia said, her voice steady. "And that means we need to work together, trust each other, and take care of ourselves." The changes brought a noticeable shift in the cafe's atmosphere. With more hands on deck and clearer roles, the team worked more efficiently and with renewed enthusiasm. Amelia also began carving out time for herself, something she hadn't done in months. The first test of the new system came during a particularly busy weekend. A local college had organized an event near the cafe, and the influx of students nearly doubled the usual crowd. Despite the chaos, the team managed to keep things running smoothly. Customers praised not only the quality of the coffee, but the warmth and efficiency of the staff. As the weekend wrapped up, Amelia felt a deep sense of gratitude. The cafe wasn't just surviving, it was thriving in every sense of the word. One sunny afternoon, a familiar figure walked through the door. This time, Elon Musk didn't wear a hoodie or attempt to blend in. He was greeted with applause from the customers and staff, who now knew the role he had played in Brew Haven's transformation. "Elon," Amelia exclaimed, stepping out from behind the counter. "What brings you here?" "I wanted to see how things were going," he replied, smiling. "And I must say, the energy here is even better than before." Amelia nodded. "It's been a journey, but we're finally finding our rhythm. And your advice about building a team and taking things one step at a time, it's made all the difference." Elon ordered a cappuccino and sat at a corner table, observing the cafe's bustling activity. He watched as Jordan expertly managed the counter, as customers laughed and chatted, and as Amelia moved with ease among her staff and patrons. When Amelia joined him at the table, Elon gestured to the scene around them. "This is what success looks like. Not just numbers or expansion, but the relationships you've built and the joy you've created." Amelia smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "Thank you, Elon, for everything." Before leaving, Elon made one final suggestion. "Think about hosting events here. Open mic nights, book clubs, community gatherings. Let Brew Haven become more than a cafe. Let it be a hub for connection." Months later, Brew Haven had fully embraced its role as a community cornerstone. The cafe hosted weekly poetry readings, monthly workshops, and even a charity event that raised funds for local schools. Amelia's second location, Brew Haven South, opened to much fanfare, replicating the same welcoming atmosphere that had made the original a success. Elon Musk's visits became less frequent, but his influence remained a guiding force. His initial act of kindness had not only transformed the small cafe, but had created ripples that extended far beyond its walls. Brew Haven wasn't just a place for coffee anymore. It was a symbol of what could happen when people believed in each other and worked together. And for Amelia, it was proof that even the smallest acts of kindness, like offering a warm smile or a cup of coffee, could lead to something truly extraordinary.